and welcome to our YouTube channel. Let our channel be your go-to for any beauty advice that you may need.
You can think of us as your beauty gurus. So today we're going to let you know one of our top beauty secrets. Hair extensions!
I get my hair sewn in, which you can get done at many salons, but
I make my own clip-ins. And after watching this video, you'll be able to do the same! I usually just make my own clip-ins because it's cheaper and I prefer having the flexibility to put them in and take them out whenever I want to, because I usually just wear them for special occasions.
But if you're going for more of the long wear, then it's better to get them sewn in like I do because it's just better for your hair.
So what you'll need is first a pack of hair. You can get this at any beauty supply store or a website that sells hair extensions. I usually get mine in 16 inch and that's on the longer side, but I suggest that you buy longer hair just to be safe because you never know how the hair is going to shrink up once you style it and curl it, or if you end up liking longer, because you can always cut it if it's too long. You want it to be shorter, but you can't make it longer if it's too short. And for matching the hair color to your natural hair, if you go to a beauty supply store that sells hair extensions, they can probably help you match that. Next you're going to need thread. Now technically you're supposed to use weave thread, and this is a thicker thread and it's supposedly stronger, so it keeps your clips from falling out and detaching from your hair. But I've had some difficulties with this because it is a thicker thread and it doesn't fit through most needles. So there is a special needle that you can buy for this thread, but the problem with that is that needle doesn't usually fit with most hair clips. So I just usually use normal sewing thread, and I've had no problems with it breaking or falling out, so this has worked. And for matching the color of your thread, now you usually just want to get a colored thread that matches your natural hair color. So if you have brown or black hair, get brown or black thread. If you have blonde hair, yellow or white thread works. But the color of your thread doesn't really matter, because if you're putting your clips in right, no one should be seeing the color of your thread. So I usually just stick to a dark colored thread. Today I have navy, so that's what I'll be using. To sew that thread, you'll need a needle. I used to use normal craft store needles. You can attempt the weave needle with the weave thread. Good luck. Next you're going to need weave clips or wig clips. They come in packs of 2 usually, in either black or brown, and they come in different sizes. I usually stick with the smaller sizes just because they're easier to sew on and they're easier to clip into your head. Next you're going to need scissors, and this is to cut the thread and to cut the hair. Next you're going to need a paddle brush. Now I suggest you use a paddle brush rather than a comb, because paddle brush is more gentle on the hair and a comb can tear off pieces of the hair, so I just suggest you be safe and use a paddle brush. So what you first want to do is figure out how you're going to cut your hair extension pieces. So what I usually do, since I put 5 layers of hair extensions in, is I measure out 5 sections of my hair vertically across my head, so that way I can measure the width of my head for each hair extension piece. So here is my cut piece of hair. And first I'm going to brush it because I want to make sure that there are no kinks in the hair. Next, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to make sure it is threaded. Now you're just going to thread your needle the normal way you would when you're sewing anything. Now when you're threading your needle, you want to make sure to pull the tail of your thread all the way down so that you can have a nice long piece of thread. Now that your needle is threaded, you want to take your hair clip, and you first want to make sure that the hair clip is facing outward, because you want the clip part that is going to clip onto your hair to be on the outside of what you're sewing. You don't want it to be facing inward, you want it to be facing outward. So you're going to line that up with the netting of the hair extension, and you can leave a little bit of the hair extension hanging off the end so that you can have just a teeny bit of it peeking out. But you're going to line the hair extension clip with the netting of the hair and make sure it's nice and even. And then you're going to take your needle and you're going to put your needle through the top hole of the hair extension clip. And then you're just going to pull the needle all the way through like you're normally sewing. and that will give you your first little thread. And now if your thread starts to get a little tangled up, just untangle it and continue going. And you want to make sure that you have some of the tail hanging out, a little piece of it, because if it went all the way through, then you did not sew it properly and you'll have to start over. Once you go in the first time, you're going to take the needle and you're going to go back in through that first hole of the hair clip, the same direction you did the first stitching. You're going to go back in and pull your needle all the way through, and that'll give you your first threading. And that'll keep it somewhat secured so that when you're going through, you don't have to hold it as tightly. And then you're just going to keep going through that same direction you've been going. You're just going to keep going in, and you want to keep doing that until you feel there's a little bit of tension when pulling the needle through. You want to make sure that it's partly closed up. And then once you do that, you're going to go in through the back. So you're going to switch directions, and that will just make sure that your hair clip is sewed on firmly. So you're going to keep going through the back, and then after you've done that a couple times, you're just going to switch it up. So going from the front to the back, and you want to keep sewing until you cannot fit your needle through that hole anymore. So once you're done sewing, you're going to use your scissors and cut off the extra thread that may be hanging out, so you can cut off any long pieces that might show when you put the extensions into your hair. And if you have small pieces of thread showing, it doesn't really matter, so you can leave those on. Now that you have one side of the clip securely sewed on, you're going to do the other side. So you're going to do exactly what you did for the first side. You're going to line the clip up evenly to the netting of your hair extension, and you're going to put the needle through that first hole. And you're going to do the exact same way you did the first one. So you're going to go in through the front a couple times, go in through the back, and then switch it up and go from the front to the back until you cannot fit that needle through the hole. And this is what it looks like when the clip has been fully sewed on. So now it's time to do the other side. So you're going to line the second clip up evenly with the netting of the hair extension. Make sure that you have a little bit of the hair extension netting hanging off the end. You're going to put the needle through the first hole of the clip, and you're going to sew it on the exact same way that you did the first clip. And this is what the final hair extension looks like with both clips sewed on. So I hope this video was helpful. Good luck with your hair extensions, and as always, stay flawless.